And we're recording. Hey, it's another No Lag podcast. Thanks for joining us again for our third week. This week we have...
Hi, everybody. I'm Steve Moulton.
Desiree!
And me, I'm Wes. So we're going to just go ahead and just jump right into it and get things started. I wanted to remind everyone that we have a Patreon page. So if you want to help support us and help us keep things going and get better equipment, like right now we're really hoping to get some new microphones and some XLR cables and things. So that would help us make a better podcast and make better streaming videos and recorded videos as well. So you can go to patreon.com. That's patreon.com/nolag, NOLAG. And you can subscribe there. You can subscribe for as little as $1 a month. You could do $5 a month and you get some rewards, or we have various rewards for kind of like Kickstarter as you go up. And then every month that you're a subscriber, you get that reward. So you can always upgrade and lower and whatnot. But even $1 would help us. So really appreciate it if you could at least go check out that page.
$1 would help us keep our iced tea pitchers full.
Oh man, you know it. I also want to make one quick correction. Last week we talked about the Homes on the Range series, and I wanted to just confirm exactly how many books there were in the series. I think I was kind of like, oh, I have 3 of them. There might be 4, maybe 5. There's 5 novels in the series, and then there's one book that's 7 short stories that kind of give you background for the characters and kind of tell you how it came to be. So definitely go pick up the books, get it on your Nook or your Kindle or whatever, or get the good smelling, nice hard copy if you can.
The good smelling copy.
Yeah,
Not the bad smelling copy.
Well, I mean, like
hey, people fart in
books
bookstores.
smell good. I guess that's true. You look really tiny on our recording because you're so far back.
Oh no! Should I scooch forward a little? I can't move my chair. I can move it a little bit.
A little bit. Have some help?
Don't pinch your fingers.
Oh, she moved forward.
Better?
Everyone, for those listening, Desiree successfully moved forward.
Yay!
We did it.
So since we're talking about recording and streaming and stuff, one other thing to just kind of promote is our Twitch stream, where we game live, and you can come on there and chat with us. It's definitely picking up some steam and getting a lot of followers, so we encourage you to join and chat with us. It's a lot of fun. It makes it better for us because we get to chat, and it makes it better for the people watching.
Yeah, because otherwise it's super boring because we tell each other everything anyway, so we're out of things to talk about. Once we get to 9 o'clock at night, we've already said everything we need to say to each other.
So check out twitch.tv/NoLagTillBrooklyn. And we're basically, not only do we stream that pretty consistently. Steve's doing this peck thing for those watching the recording.
I wasn't even aware I was doing it.
Like that.
I got no sleep till Brooklyn in my head, and I started sounding out the peck rhythm.
It was distracting me. So we've been doing a lot of... We do streams every single day, and tonight, for example, you're watching or listening to this after the fact, but we're doing an extra long stream. We're going to stream from about 5 p.m. Pacific time to maybe 2 or 3 o'clock in the morning, so it'll be a nice long stream. We're kind of trying to stretch it out and prep ourselves. We've got a charity event coming up in October called Extra Life, which is a national event where people are raising money for children's hospitals all over the country. So we'll be gaming 24 hours straight for that. So we're trying to get ready for that. So, yeah. Now let's jump into the real topics for the podcast, since we've kind of tackled the PSAs for now.
Yes.
So last week we talked a little bit about Doctor Who. I'm not going to go into this week's episode, but I wanted to ask you, Steve, do you watch the current iteration of Doctor Who?
I do not. However, I feel like I hang out with your friend Daniel enough to know what's going on.
Yeah, so you kind of always hear about it.
Daniel's not your friend also?
He is my friend also. But, I definitely get my Who news from him. And I think I even have a roommate who's pretty well into it at this point as well.
So why don't you watch it? If all your friends are doing it, why aren't you doing it?
Because I was taught a long time ago to almost not do anything that all my friends do. And B, I'm a bit of a completist. So my worry is, if I get into Who now, am I going to have to go back? I know I'm going to want to go back and watch absolutely every season available.
50 years of Doctor Who.
Is it really that long?
Yeah, the 50th anniversary
was
last year.
Gosh.
I feel like as a completist, you probably could start just at the new iteration
Okay.
and watch, through all of that.
All right.
Well, there's been
But-
there's been 50 years, but let's be real about this. In England, the episodes are a series or a season is different. So those
Okay.
old seasons, there are only 4 episodes in some of them.
Oh, wow.
So I mean, they were telling a lot of times they were telling like 1 or 2 stories for a season.
Yeah.
So it actually, other than the fact that some of the episodes are lost and you can't, like they're still trying to find them.
Yeah.
So you can't necessarily complete all of them. You probably could do, any of them that they do have. It probably wouldn't be that daunting to complete them, just for what it's worth.
Maybe.
And the new stuff's a lot of fun.
That's what I hear.
The new guy is crazy.
That's Peter Capaldi, right?
Yeah.
Is it Capaldi? Am I pronouncing
Capaldi.
it right?
I don't know. I think that's how you say
I
it.
believe that's
I mean, that's
PDC.
So, all right. I guess that's.
Well, do talk about it.
I mean,
I'm not worried about spoilers.
I was just more curious about why you weren't watching it.
I think it's just sort of like there's already a handful of stuff that I am keeping track of.
Mm-hmm.
And then, by the time this whole Doctor Who American wave started rolling in.
Doctor Hoopla.
Yes! By the time all the Doctor Hoopla started rolling into America, I think I was just kind of looking at it like, well, hasn't that been around like forever? Why is everybody just now getting into it? And so I just kind of didn't bother. I've sat through episodes and been perfectly entertained, but I'm already addicted to too much TV.
Right.
That to then add a pretty huge series to it, I just have to abstain
Yeah.
for my own couch potato.
Since you are into TV, we're going to talk a lot about TV, although it sounds
That's all right with me.
I have a feeling it might be a bunch of things that you aren't into, but
Well, that's okay.
yeah, we'll...
Maybe we'll find something new that he.
Yeah,
wants
maybe
to-
he can tell us about some things, but...
We can talk terriers or
yeah,
Red
sure.
Dwarf.
Oh, Red Dwarf.
God loves the terriers.
Yeah.
I do like Red Dwarf.
Red Dwarf's great.
I kind of wish they hadn't come back.
Yeah, it wasn't.
When did Red Dwarf come back?
They did
A
like
couple
a.
years ago, they did a special, and then they came back for some limited series
Oh,
stuff.
okay.
But
Yeah.
I think I remember that
It just
happening.
wasn't. It just wasn't the same.
yeah, coming back without Kachansky too.
Yeah.
Spoiler.
Chrissy Kachansky.
So just to just kind of move off of Doctor Who, but stay in space a little bit. Let's talk one other thing. We've talked about it every week, I think, and I can't help myself. But Destiny comes out on Tuesday.
It's really
Now, you are
exciting.
referring to the movie Destiny Turns on the Radio starring Quentin Tarantino, right?
Yes. No.
No, okay. A
We
different
are not.
Destiny.
Is that the one where he gets struck by lightning?
Something happens.
Or
I
is that
remember
Johnny something.
that might be Johnny.
Hollywood. No.
No, what's that movie called?
Something. I don't know.
There's a very similar thing going on between those two movies, though.
No.
know
This
what you mean.
this is
I don't know about
a
any
new-
of these movies.
a new
Let's talk about the Destiny that we're talking about now.
video game. It's coming out on consoles.
Oh.
I'm very excited about it. I've talked about it a couple weeks now, but I can't help myself because it comes out on Tuesday.
This
This upcoming Tuesday, probably the Tuesday that this is out by.
Oh, wow.
This will probably be out on Monday. So
I think there's going to be a fight in our house
over who gets
over
to play
who
Destiny.
Gets to play first.
So
there
basically
is
I-
no question who's going to get to play first.
So I shouldn't come by at all
It's
next
me.
week.
It's
No,
me.
no. Yeah,
I
no, you
just
should.
let you two duke it out.
You should come by and hang out and watch us play. It'll be a lot of fun.
Okay.
We're gonna create we get to create characters and we can upgrade their weapons. And I pre-ordered it and I've downloaded it already on the Xbox One.
Destiny.
And we
New
have
feature. That's a new feature.
that. Yeah, that you can download ahead of time.
Pre-download. Yeah.
Whoa.
Yeah. So I'm excited for that. I'm also excited that we have a clan. So if you want,
Destiny Clan.
yeah. So if you want to join our group and have your stats apply into the group's stats, you can be on any system you want and be a part of our clan. You don't have to be on the Xbox One. You can be on the 360, the PS3, the PS4, and you can still be a member of our clan. We will put a link in both the iTunes description and the YouTube description for those watching on YouTube. That you can click that or copy and paste that link and join our clan, the No Lag Till Brooklyn Clan.
That's
Yeah.
incredible.
Our motto is play until you throw up. So one of our No Lag crew members, Mandy, she gets motion sick, so she doesn't play first-person shooters very often.
Ah.
so that particular motto is appropriate for her.
Yeah.
Understood.
It won't take long.
It won't take long for her to throw it. I've been trying to convince her to get it.
Yeah, I'm really excited about it. I think, I don't get super excited about video game releases very often. This particular game, I got excited enough about to actually play some first-person shooters.
To play Call of Duty.
In preparation
Nice.
for. So
And
I
you beat the
beat
campaign.
Call of Duty. I got through the campaign. I had a lot of fun. And I'm going to probably start Dead Rising 3, get a little more practice in before Tuesday.
You beat Call of Duty, the campaign, and not that the Call of Duty campaign is super difficult or intricate for first-person shooter players,
Right.
but it was your first one ever, so that's an accomplishment. But also, you did it in 5 days of pretty short game
This is
sessions,
true. This
just
is
a couple hours at a time. So
I mean, there definitely were some times where I was just basically going in a circle for 5 minutes
Yeah.
because I missed where my team went, and
Yeah.
then I didn't know what I was supposed to be doing.
it happens.
Uh-oh.
It happens.
But I had a lot of fun doing it, and
And so-
got some of my cussing out.
Oh my gosh, children, don't listen to that. We posted on the YouTube page. We posted a really short clip of Desi continually getting eaten by sharks
Uh-oh.
in the game. It was pretty awesome.
Yeah. Well, I think the first one is the funniest to me because you were like, watch out for those sharks, and I was watching out for 2 sharks on the right.
And I kept going, watch out for the shark, watch
And
out
I was
for the
like, I'm
shark.
looking right at them, and then one just eats me from the
Ooh.
left. I was like, oh, that shark.
I saw him coming to get you. So
Sharks can be scary.
sharks
Yeah,
can be
it was-
scary.
it
You
was
should
pretty
know,
cool.
I do know.
Steve.
I love the... Oh, and I was in Sharknado.
You were in Sharknado, Pepperjack. So
That's right. Hashtag Pepperjack.
hashtag Pepperjack. I'm gonna put that in the description, but I'm not gonna put the little pound symbol.
Oh.
I'm gonna write out hashtag
Hashtag
Pepperjack.
Pepperjack. What's funny is once in a while, whenever Sharknado shows up on TV, you'll usually see a couple hashtag Pepperjacks referring to Sharknado.
Yeah.
And then you'll see a whole lot of hashtag Pepperjacks where people are just hashtagging every ingredient of the sandwich or whatever sort of food they just made.
Oh, that's awesome.
And so it's kind of awesome, but I don't know. Do we need to know everybody's snack recipe?
It's a
Well,
sandwich.
Every
I mean,
hour,
I'm
every day?
alright if it's a
I
sandwich.
guess so.
This is true.
I mean,
we do
jinx.
have
I
a
just jinxed
snacks.
Oh no.
We do have a snack-centric show that we've been working on.
Yeah.
Oh.
Working out the kinks on that one. But
Expansion snack. We may have a new
Expansion
host for
snack.
Expansion Snack soon. I think I learned quickly that it might not be my show, but
Expansion snack.
Expansion Snack. Yeah, we like that show. We like
That's
the
a
idea.
fun
at least.
name.
So to stick with other video games that we've kind of have recently been talking about, Minecraft on the Xbox One. Last week we were like, oh, Microsoft should have it today, and hopefully it'll be out within a week or so. It's out. It came out Thursday night.
yeah,
that's
they were
weird.
like, PS4 was like,
It's out.
we're going to put it out. And then Xbox was like, nope, we put it out first.
Well, they didn't put it out first.
They
but-
put it out the same day.
Yeah, they put it out the same day. Well, Microsoft had announced that they were going to put it out on Friday already
Right.
at that point. And then PS4 was like, hey, it's out now, everybody. And then so later that day, Microsoft was like, hey, Xbox One's available or Minecraft's available on Xbox One now. So
Yeah.
Um,
They bumped it up a bit to keep pace with
so we
PlayStation.
got our transfer. We bought the little upgrade with our Microsoft credit, and it was only $4.99 to get the new version. And if you didn't previously buy it, it was $20. But since we previously owned it on the 360, we were able to just upgrade for $5.
And I mean, that's still such a cheap price for
How much gameplay you get out of
and
it?
for just a video game in general. I mean,
Yeah,
there's some stuff that's less, but
sure.
most stuff like Destiny is going to be like
$60.
$60.
Unless you want the 2 expansions that they've already announced plus some extra stuff, it's an $89.99
like bundle or whatever.
bundle. Yeah.
Yeah.
Wowzers.
For pre-order. That's the pre-order deal. If you wait until it comes out and you buy the expansions separately, the 2 expansions are $20 a piece alone, which would be $10 more than that
like-
pre-order bundle. Plus, you wouldn't
Yeah.
get the special bonuses as well. So,
Right.
Wowzers.
but yeah, so Minecraft came out. We are streaming that now. You're going to see a lot more of that. We're back to building Disneyland
Yeah.
in Minecraft, which is really
Yeah.
exciting.
Did you have to start over?
We're starting over, yeah.
Yeah.
What happened?
Well,
is heartbreaking.
Well, if you don't want to go into it, I'm not.
No, I
I'm
mean,
not gonna pressure you guys.
the short version is we started with what we told it to start us with a super flat world.
Okay.
So that way we wouldn't have to like level mountains and burn down forests and stuff.
Yeah.
So we started with the super flat world. What we did not know is that the super flat world starts you at the bottom of the map. So if you think of a Minecraft world as a giant box,
Okay.
and the sky is here, ground is here, and normally when you start in a world there's mountains and stuff and you can dig down. Well, this started us at the bottom, so we couldn't dig down.
So it's like we were already at like the core, if you will, of that world.
Bedrock. We were down
Yeah.
to almost bedrock, so we can only dig down a couple blocks. And what we've been wanting to do specifically is build down so we can actually build Space Mountain. So we can
Wow.
actually build the Haunted Mansion. So you can get in little mine carts and ride around.
Yeah.
And that would prevent us from doing that. So it was a big heartbreak for us.
Yeah, we'd already gotten through
all of
the-
Main Street's facades.
Yeah, the entrance, the train station, all of the facades
Yeah.
on Main Street, and we had started the
hub.
hub
Wow.
We
for
got
the
the
castle. We actually
circular-
started the castle. We did like maybe 20 blocks or
Oh,
so
man.
of the like gate of the castle.
Yeah, we had the gate.
And then sort of accidentally figured out that there was no room to go down.
Aww.
The hub though, that circular hub where the statue, if you've ever been to Disneyland, there's this, you come up Main Street and then there's this round circular hub. And it's kind of like a turnaround, and
It's round and circular?
Yes,
Yeah.
round circular. I was just giving extra words for no good reason.
I like it.
And then it kind of spokes out.
Yes.
It's kind of like a wheel, and like a round wheel.
Like a round wheel?
circular
I like it.
wheel.
Round circular wheel. And so then that lets you go into the other lands. So we spent a lot of time figuring out how to make that actually circular, because you're dealing with squares.
Right.
So we've spent a lot of time building, tearing down, and
Wow.
really figuring out how to
Yeah.
make this round. And
And,
we
yeah.
figured it out, and then we had this heartbreaking moment where the next night we started
Aw.
digging down and we had this moment.
Yeah, well, and the thing too is it was not just like building a circle, but it was like building a circle within a circle within a circle within a circle. So like trying
Right.
to figure out how to make those line up with each other, so it wasn't like
Right. Absolutely.
off center or
It was a little bit of a nightmare.
It was. I think it will go much faster this time.
Now that we know what we're
Now
doing.
we know what we're doing.
I like it.
But it was pretty heartbreaking when we figured out that we were gonna have to just start over.
So right now we're back at the ticket booths. We got the ticket booth entrances, and we have the Mickey flowers built up now.
Cool.
And we've started the train station.
We've gotten the facade of the train station, which I think actually
It's better this time.
yes looks better than the last time, because I think we kind of, as we got further and further down Main Street, we sort of learned some things, figured out how to make different things work, and I think proportionally the train station's a little bit better now. So
Cool.
Yeah, I think there were definitely some things the first time we built that we were like, I wish we had done this after the fact, but we didn't want to go back and tear the building down because we'd
Yeah.
done so much work on it. So
yeah, and
this is
then
going to
it's
give us
like
opportunity.
once you get the buildings in the side, it's like then you would have to move all of those, and it just snowballs into this ridiculousness. So
Yeah, so come join us, watch us play some Minecraft, chat with us, offer your suggestions. We're definitely open to hearing people's suggestions. We have another world that we build in that we're building giant life-size versions of board games, because as
Nice.
Steve knows, and people who might know us personally know that we're really into board games. You can see a few of them behind me. And so we have a life-size Clue house, a
Whoa.
Clue mansion, and it's beautiful.
It is.
It
That
looks
turned out so
really
well.
amazing.
That's cool.
And the ground floor is built to the sort of specifications or to the design of the Clue board, the actual
Awesome.
Clue house. And then we added an upstairs for all the players to start. So each character has their own room. Like Mrs. Peacock, her room is completely blue.
Yeah.
And, Professor Plum, his room is all purple. So, yeah, we're really excited about it. The ballroom is pretty cool. It even plays kind of a creepy song when you go in there and use the jukebox.
Uh-oh.
And it's got a great chandelier. And then outside of that, we have a giant Monopoly board, which we've been working on. And it makes me giddy every time I see the railroads. 'Cause I came up with a really fun thing
the
for the railroads.
railroads are pretty adorable.
Yeah. I was like, I tweeted out as soon as I did it. I was like, you guys have to see the cutest thing I just built in Minecraft. It was pretty funny. And then we've started Battleship. We
Oh, yeah?
figured out how
And
to
that's
make
actually looking really good too. I'm liking the way that turned out.
it. Looks like a battleship.
Yeah,
Battleship
and you
on
did some
Minecraft.
cool things with water, and it's awesome.
Yeah. So when you place your blocks, so you have the battleship board. When you place your blocks, you're actually placing your ships in water.
Wow, all right.
So yeah, so we're pretty happy with that. So yeah, so come join that, and we're open to other people's worlds. Last week we got to check out one of our viewers on Twitch who we had never met before. Said, "Hey, I want to show you my Minecraft world." So we jumped into his world while we were streaming, and it blew us away.
Yeah.
It was amazing.
It made us feel so lame.
So bad at Minecraft.
I was like, we can't figure out how to make a circle, and this kid's making circular towers with spires and things coming out of them, and just, oh man, it was
crazy town. He said he did all by himself, and he spent 8 months building.
Wow.
completely by himself.
Yeah, completely by himself in this one world, and we were just like,
Yeah, I kind of like, well, I want to
blown.
just put my controller down and be like, I'm never playing Minecraft. So,
Do you want to hear a scary story about Space Mountain, speaking of not being able to dig down?
yeah.
I do.
Finish yours.
First, we should mention that if other people want to play with us,
Yes,
that is one of the perks on our Patreon.
that's a reward. So there's one of the rewards. I hate that we mentioned this because I don't remember what dollar amount. It might be $10. If you subscribe at $10, you get to play. It gives you the opportunity to play games with us online. So
Cool.
So yeah, if you want to get in on our stream and play while we're streaming, that's a good opportunity. If you want to get in on some of our shows in person, there's even a perk for that, but it's expensive. So because we got to fly out and put you up in a hotel and all that stuff. So
That's a big donation right there.
Yeah.
I want to hear about the scary Space Mountain
Yes, I do
thing.
too.
So you probably remember my first ever Space Mountain experience.
I've heard the story. I don't think I was there.
You were not there. Our friends Samantha and Eric were there. And I got on Space Mountain, my first time ever at Disneyland, and I couldn't get the safety bar past my knees. And the attendant on the ride looked at me and said, "Is that latched?" And I said, "No, it's not." And he just kind of shrugged, and I rode Space Mountain with no safety bar whatsoever.
Oh, jeez.
Hanging on for dear life, first time ever on the ride. I remember at one point screaming at my friends that I hated them, and also chanting USA over and over again for what felt like hours. So anyway, just this week I finally got on Space Mountain again. I'd been told that they restructured the seats, I guess, or the buggies, whatever you want to call those.
Sure.
And it seemed different, that's for sure. So I got on, the bar got just past my knees and clicked into place.
It clicked. So,
So I rode a very safe, very uncomfortable ride around Space Mountain.
Did you enjoy it more than the first time?
Oh, yeah. It's thrilling.
Would you go on the ride again?
Oh, absolutely.
Oh, that's
now
good.
that I
That's good,
know
that's good.
the
That you're
bar will
safe.
click, now I'm like totally good with it. Yeah,
That's
so
good. I'm
Yeah.
glad because
next time we're going on Space Mountain.
that's a great ride.
Yeah.
At least once.
We recently went to Six Flags.
I don't know if you can handle that.
Based on most of the video I've seen, I'll just never bother to go.
Well, it's interesting, like, talking about sort of how... So, the rides are sort of designed to hold the average-sized person,
Yeah.
which neither Steve or I are, for different reasons, are average size. And while I enjoyed some of the roller coasters, some of them were actually painful
Oh,
and
Yeah.
somewhat scary for me because I didn't feel like I was completely like secure,
Whoa.
you know, because I like it gets to the last click and
Yeah.
it's still not to me
oh
yet.
no.
So that was kind of an interesting experience.
So you were worried that you might be able to slip right out past
Right,
the
yeah,
guardrail. Oh my
right.
gosh. That's terrifying.
Well, we went on this one ride where these arms kind of come in and like down, so they're like hugging you. They're like
Alright.
over your shoulders and like almost like a life jacket kind of.
Yeah, they look like a life
Yeah,
jacket.
and you're sitting, but your feet are
Oh no.
dangling,
Yeah, I've
and
never been
you
on
start
one
the
of
ride tipped back
Uh-oh.
on your back, and you go like complete circles in this ride, like upside down, and the thing that comes and holds you on your chest didn't come all the way to my
Oh, no.
chest. So I didn't feel like I was going to fall out, but I was like slamming back and forth
those. Yeah.
in
Yeah,
this
that was a pretty rough ride.
thing. Yeah,
That's
it
no
was
fun.
kind of awful.
The X2.
I think it's like it's
X2.
it's sad because like I feel like I actually might have really enjoyed that ride, but I was
there was
so,
parts of it I really liked.
I was so uncomfortable that
Yeah.
it made it not fun
Even
for me.
even for me, my legs were like slamming against the thing because
Yeah.
it wasn't really hold your legs in. I'll tell you what, if you thought that was crazy, they have a ride called Tatsu, which
I've
is
heard
like a
about
dragon
Tatsu.
ride, and they put you in like a harness thing, and and then when they lock the harness, little things go over your ankles.
Oh.
And then when the ride starts, it tips you down. But it doesn't just tip you like this. It kind of tips you like, I said like this and the people listening can't hear. It doesn't just put you parallel with the ground. It kind of almost tips you just far enough to where your head is tilted more down than your feet. And
So
God.
you're
And I
like,
thought-
you're like facing the ground.
so you're like flying, right? And I
Right.
thought, and when I was excited about this ride, I was like, yeah, it'll be like flying. We'll be going forward, but we'll be laying down and be kind of like Superman or whatever. But I wasn't really prepared to watch come out of like the little hangar and see the ground just below me
Whoa.
and just be hanging in this thing like it was like if any of this mechanism fails, I'm going face first into the ground.
Oh,
Yeah.
snap.
It is thrilling and completely terrifying at the same time. And I really enjoyed it, and I would absolutely ride it again. But
Tatsu.
holy cow, I wasn't really prepared for seeing the ground so much
Yeah.
because you don't expect that.
Yeah.
So-
yeah, usually when you're in a roller coaster, you don't see much of the ground.
I'm getting nauseated just hearing about that story. That sounds like my worst day.
We did have a lot of fun though, but you went on more rides than I did because
Yeah.
it's one thing to go to Disneyland where you can sort of like go on a kind of tame roller coaster and then go on a different ride and you walk around a lot. And it's, when we go to Six Flags, it's like roller coaster, roller coaster, roller coaster.
go to Bugs
roller
Bunny
coaster,
World.
roller coaster.
Bugs Bunny World? What's Bugs Bunny
It's like the
World?
kids area,
Right, but
with the tame rides.
it's mostly about the roller coasters and the thrill rides. And
Sure.
after a few,
They have
I
some.
start to feel motion sick.
They have some
Oh.
traditional
Yeah,
like
it's-
carnival type rides too, in
Yeah,
like the
yeah.
superhero area. So they have like the what most people know is like a scrambler. They have one of those.
All right.
They have like a gravitron essentially.
Yeah, but I
Tilt-a-whirl?
can't do those because
Yeah,
go
they
in
have
circles.
stuff like that. Yeah.
Sweet.
Both of the things you just mentioned go in circles, and I can't do circles. So
You could do the scrambler though, I think, because you do Mater's Junkyard Jamboree at California
yeah, maybe
Adventure.
I could maybe handle that.
I don't know,
But
if
the
we-
Gravitron, that's like my worst nightmare.
I wonder if we've gone
I
off the
can-
rails on this podcast.
I'm just saying, I can go on a roller coaster, but the Gravitron is. I can barely even look at that thing without feeling
Oh,
sick.
see, I'm fine with the
I like
gravity.
it. Like sucks you to
if
the
it
wall.
goes in a circle, it's a no-go for me.
Oh, wow.
Well, I have no great segue for this,
Okay.
other than the idea of death.
All right.
Which, riding Tatsu, I felt like I could fall to my death at any moment.
Oh, no.
So that's my terrible segue. So, kind of going back to video games, I'm sorry I had to do this, just keep moving on the podcast. There's been a guy who spent 7 months playing Fallout 3, which doesn't seem terribly weird, necessarily.
No, yeah, playing games have lots of replayability.
Have you played Fallout 3?
I think I watched you play it once.
Really?
I think that's about it.
Yeah, it's a pretty great game.
Fallout 3.
I'm a big fan. It's a good story. Liam Neeson's in it.
Oh.
I really loved the game. I thought I had never played the first 2 Fallout games, but I liked this idea that we had an alternate history where China invaded and there was a big nuclear holocaust and
Ooh.
people lived in vaults and you were sort of exploring out of the vault. So
Yeah.
I liked this idea, but this guy is playing the game completely different than I played it. He has spent 7 months attempting to kill every single character in the game.
Wow.
So it's over 3,000 characters, and he's killing characters that can give you missions and
Yeah.
items and things, and he's just like killing them, stealing their stuff, and running off. And his handle is Many a True Nerd. He has a website, manyatruenerd.com, but you can go on YouTube and watch. There's like 30 episodes, I think, of this
Wow.
Fallout murder spree. He's British and he's really funny. He's a lot of fun to watch. So.
Yeah, and it's like you were saying, he kills off characters that can give you missions and stuff. But it does seem like he's sort of strategic about the way he goes about it. Like he kind of has figured out that there are certain people you need to kill before you kill other people for certain reasons.
Oh, wow.
Yeah. Well, he talks about in the first episode that some people tried to do a no-kill run-through where you just you complete the game, and there's problems with that, and you have almost immediately in the game, as a child, you get given your first BB gun, and you're sent to go kill rad roaches. So you can't move past that stage without killing the rad roaches, unless you use a glitch, which allows you to leave the vault as a child. But if you leave the vault as a child, it creates sort of a never-ending glitch, and you can't advance any further that way.
Oh, weird.
And if you could get past the rad roach situation, near the end of the game, there is a thing where you have to kill super mutants. Or you can maybe have your companions do it, but they're still, there's
Still
this
being
argument.
killed.
You're controlling the companions. You're not controlling them with the controller, but you're telling them whether to be aggressive or whatever. And again, you can't advance through that. So they learned that you can't do a no-kill run through, so he's doing an all-kill. There are some characters who are invincible that it would be game-breaking if you killed them. And so what it does is it knocks them unconscious instead of killing them. And then they'll like fall down, and then they'll get up and run away or whatever. So even though that's the case, he makes sure he at least knocks down all of the unconscious or all of the non-killable players. So not only does he kill the ones he can kill, but he knocks down the other ones. So
It's interesting. Do you think is there a way to do like a no-kill where you just don't kill any of the people? Like you still kill, like maybe super mutants and
I don't know.
but not any like characters you can have conversations with.
Is a mutant a person though?
No, Wesley.
Okay, for the sake of this argument, then it's not. They're not people. I don't know.
I just mean, characters that you interact with, and can give you missions and things like that.
I would say probably not. I don't want to spoil the. I mean, it's an old game it's been out for quite a while, but I think it's such a great game that I definitely don't want to spoil it.
Yeah.
But I would say that probably by the time you get to the end of the game, there's a situation where someone's got to die.
Gotcha.
So I think I don't know.
I think your phone keeps buzzing.
Yeah, my phone's buzzing.
Fallout.
But who cares about the phone?
It could be something really super interesting that they want to hear about.
It's baseball
Oh,
notifications,
baseball
and someone tweeted something. So that's
baseball
pretty exciting. Let me unlock this real quick.
We locked it.
Oh, okay. Now we're moving into movies and TV shows.
Yeah.
And so I'm really excited for this. I'm going to start a new thing for every podcast.
Okay.
I'm going to do a movie of the week for every podcast.
Ooh.
So I'm going to let you know what the movie is. We're going to talk a little bit about it. I don't like to do spoilers, so we'll try and stay spoiler free. And I highly, highly recommend you go see the movie. And the first one that I'm going to talk about is available on Netflix Instant Streaming. I imagine it's probably available on Amazon Instant Prime, whatever it is.
One of those.
And it's actually, in my opinion, is absolutely worth going out and renting a hard copy if you had to do it that way, or just buying it or whatever. And this movie is called Holy Motors. So you have seen Holy Motors, and you have not seen Holy Motors.
I've seen the trailer.
Do you want to talk a little bit about the movie, and then I'll give some more real specific information about the film?
I would love to tell you what this movie is about, but I'm not really sure. It's the kind of movie where just when you think you have it figured out, you don't. Like the next scene is like, wait a minute, everything I thought is just out the window now. But I don't think that you have to understand what's going on in the plot to appreciate the movie.
Well, and it's all interpretive anyways.
Yeah, exactly.
It's not like you're going to be like, I know who the killer is. It's not like one of those kind of stories.
No.
It's one of those where you're like, well, I kind of think what they mean in this scene, what the director is trying to tell us in the scene is something like, it's a very artistic film. It's very stylistic, but it's super, super enjoyable for people who aren't into art films.
Yeah.
Yeah.
All right.
So
it's very like visually amazing. The performances are great. I mean, there's just so much good about it, and even if you don't necessarily know what is going on, just the trying to figure it out and the like making, coming to some type of conclusion in your head is part of the joy, I think, of watching this movie.
Right.
Like, I think you're not really supposed to know for sure what it's about.
Right. It's a French film, so know that going in.
Subtitles.
Subtitles. It's a film by Leo Carax, I think is how you say his name. It's Carax. And if you've ever seen any of his films, they're all like kind of weird. It stars Dennis Levant, and that's who I really want to talk about because the movie completely rides on his shoulders. Eva Mendes is also in the film briefly.
Eva Mendes.
It's almost like it's a movie of almost like short films all put together to make one big thing. It all takes place in one day, and it all sort of ties together, all sort of makes sense. But at the same time, you sort of kind of feel like you're watching like something episodic almost. And so Eva Mendes is in one of these episodes, and she has a really interesting role to play. She plays a supermodel in it, but her relationship to Dennis Levant in the film is bizarre. So
yes, it is.
It's also got Kylie Minogue, who does have a musical number in the movie, and it's a very sweet and beautiful song, and it's a sweet and beautiful and sad story at the same time.
Yeah.
So please go check this out. Dennis Levant is absolutely phenomenal. If you're into performances, if you're an actor, this is a movie you have to see because his performance in this film is amazing. At least YouTube the video to the trailer. I'll
Just
I'll
watch
throw a
the
link.
whole movie.
Watch the whole
Just
movie.
watch
But
the
I'll
whole
throw a link
movie.
in it. I think if you watch the trailer,
You'll want to watch
you'll
the movie.
probably want to watch the movie.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's so good.
It's really interesting too because this main character is the same character for the whole movie, but he's also different characters in a weird way. Like I don't want to say too much about that, but
it's a little hard to describe. I would really like to sort of tell you what it's about. Basically, this guy Dennis Levant gets picked up in a limo at the beginning of the day, and he has a bunch of appointments that he has to go to. And as he goes through these appointments, almost immediately you learn that he's sort of an actor himself. He's sort of portraying other people through these appointments,
right?
And it must have required a lot of range and skill to do these performances that he does in the movie.
And fantastic makeup in that movie too.
Yeah, the makeup's really great.
Just absolutely amazing.
Yeah. There's a great musical number. I mean, besides the Kylie Minogue one, there's sort of almost like an intermission.
Yeah.
There's an intermission in the movie with a song by Congos. Is that the name? Congos. Come With Me Now, which people probably have heard on the radio.
It's on K-Rock a lot if you're in California.
Apparently it's on K-Rock a lot.
Yeah, and I've heard it on Sirius Hits 1 plenty of times.
Yeah.
So
got some accordion playing.
Yeah.
It's a fun song, and it is a great break for the film.
It really is.
It's really unique camera work. Let's put it
that way. Yeah, and it gives you a minute to stop trying to figure things out and rest your brain.
Yeah, I'm sorry we're being so vague about it, and we're not really talking about the plot too much. It's one of those films that you just it's one of those where you have to just trust the people and jump into it and see if you love it, because I think everybody I know has really enjoyed this film.
Yeah.
And it's called?
It's called Holy Motors.
Holy Motors.
Holy Motors.
With Eva Mendes.
With Eva Mendes.
Call me.
Right.
These two are married. Don't call either of them.
Call Steve. Absolutely call Steve. Okay, so that was our movie of the week. So go see it.
Awesome.
Go see Holy Motors. Or stay home and watch Holy Motors. It's that easy.
Yeah.
That's what's great about it.
Mm-hmm.
So,
technology.
Someone we know from Nights of Nerdvana, I was sort of talking online with Jared and said, "Hey, what should I talk about in the podcast this week?" And he was like, and he's a big TV nerd, and he has a podcast coming out. They've done an introductory episode. You can check it out on iTunes. We'll try and link that for you. And he said, "Talk about." TV season's about to start. Talk about TV, of course. I was like, of course the TV nerd's telling me to talk about
right.
TV
Well,
shows.
I mean, it is, everything's starting back up right now, so.
Right. And it is
valid.
it is a passion of mine, just telling stories in general and film. And as you can see behind us, we have several. Look, there's ER, one of my favorite TV series of all time.
The whole series.
Just to give some perspective, you literally can't even see all of our movies on the screen right now.
Yeah. But that's okay.
No, I just mean...
They've seen other angles of
there's a lot of them.
Podcast. Yeah, there's a lot of movies. And Chris
is that a VHS of Alf, or is that 2 DVDs?
No, that's a DVD set.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, it's a set.
Yeah, sorry, it's not VHS of Alf.
Season 1 or something.
Yeah.
It's still Alf. That's great.
Yeah, so there's a lot of shows coming back. I'm going to talk about the ones that I'm most excited about. We'll talk about a couple that we don't really know that much about that could be interesting. And then you guys can talk about some stuff that you're excited about as well. I'm going to try and kind of do them in order of premiere date.
Okay.
All right.
So the first one, which we mentioned in another episode, also the day that Destiny comes out, September 9th, Tuesday, Sons of Anarchy comes back.
Well, I don't know how to decide between those
down
two.
this road.
Like,
You're not caught up on Sons of Anarchy.
oh,
so
that's true.
So I know exactly what you're going to do. You're going to play Destiny. But I'll be watching Sons of Anarchy on my own time because I'm not going to sit around and wait for you guys to catch up for the final season. Again, with no spoilers, after the finale last year, I'm dying to know what's going to happen next.
I do have one spoiler for this season.
Don't spoil.
It's pretty good, though.
No, don't spoil.
They moved from motorcycles to hover bikes.
You're
Oh,
full.
God. I do
hover
have to
bikes.
say, when we talked about this a little bit on the last episode, so I won't go too far into it, but this is a show where initially I was like, it doesn't seem interesting to me. I don't really care to watch it. Wes was very persistent.
Months.
And-
It literally months to convince Desi and Chris to watch the show.
And even once we started watching it, Chris was still very resistant for like the first couple of seasons.
Yeah.
It is the kind of show that even if you don't think you're going to be into the sort of subject matter of the show, once you get into it, it is actually very good, and
The characters are amazing.
the characters are amazing. I really enjoy it. I just wanted to kind of like reiterate that if you've been on the fence about it,
Yeah.
even if you think you won't like it, give it a few seasons. And
Give it one season at least. I mean,
Yeah,
give it that first
yeah.
season. I think by the time you get to the end of that first season, you're kind of like blown away with some of the decisions they make. Because
Yeah.
one of the things I love about the show, and one of the things I told Desi and Chris is that a lot of times in TV, they make the mistake of not really having any consequences. Something will happen at the end of an episode, and the next episode, it's like the characters forgot it ever happened.
Right, or they
And-
would like dismiss it with some like, oh, they
yeah.
didn't die, they just were in the Bahamas and
Yeah.
didn't know.
Oh, man.
You know, whatever.
Yeah, shield. And so, yeah, so I like the fact that there's consequences.
Yeah.
That matters to me, to know that they care about the story enough to stick to their guns, so to speak.
And I'm usually not the kind of person who likes consequences in TV shows. But I think it's very well done in this, and it's not like consequences that end up making you not want to watch the show anymore.
And there's a reason for
So far.
everything. So if somebody dies, it's to better the story.
Right.
So, or if something bad happens to somebody, it's to better the story, and you don't always understand that right away. But by the time you get through that sort of arc, you go, okay, I get how this all happened or why this all happened. So I really applaud the show for that, and it's got a lot of balls. So give Sons of Anarchy a shot. If you are a longtime watcher like our friend Mandy, she's excited like me, I'm sure, that this new season, the teaser came out, and it was. I had to leave the room. It was really exciting. I was really excited about the teaser. So okay, so the next show we're going to talk about is one we don't know really much about at all. It's called Red Band Society. It's going to be on Fox. It premieres September 17th. And the reason I put this on the list is more for Desi than for me. I personally think that the ads for this look like an Old Navy ad. They're like a Target ad or something. It's like kids like jumping around, and like they're all kind of pretty, and they're all kind of in soft lights, and it's like all sick kids. So it's like weird that they are kind of pretty and all in soft light, and the girl that plays the cheerleader looks like she's overacting a lot in it, and I'm not sold on this, although it does have an Academy Award winner as one of the lead actresses in the show. So
Who's that?
Octavia Spencer.
Oh, Octavia
from
Spencer.
From The Help.
I think she's like a nurse in it or something.
Yeah, she's one of
so
the nurses.
the show is about kids who are sick, and like kind of the feel that I get from the preview anyway is that it's about how they're not dead. It's like they're still alive. They still have a life, and these
Hopes and dreams
hopes
and things they have to,
yeah.
homework they have to do, and
Right, and teen hormones and all those types of things. And I think that it could be really good.
Mm-hmm.
it may be terrible. Who knows?
I think for me, it might end up being a guilty pleasure. I think I'll watch it because you're really into it. But for me, it might be kind of like Glee, where when Glee first started, and Glee's not so much this for me anymore, but when Glee first started, I really enjoyed it. It was kind of a guilty pleasure show for me. I'm not as fond of where Glee is now, but I kind of have the feeling that this might be that. This might be a guilty pleasure show. I will tell you, I'm going to tease something with the show. How the story is told and the narrator and stuff, those aspects of the show, that's what has me most interested in this show. And you don't know about it yet, so I'm going to encourage you, if you don't know and you haven't watched too many trailers for it, to go into it and let it surprise you, because I was actually kind of surprised with how they decided to tell the story. So
Very cool.
That's the one piece of this that I sort of am excited to see how it works. So
yeah, I think that it could go either way, but I'm excited to see. I'm excited to try it out and find out.
yeah,
So
we'll give it a shot.
yeah.
Yeah, doesn't hurt. Doesn't hurt to give a show. If you can watch 3 consecutive episodes of a show, that usually give you a pretty good feel with whether or not you'll like the show.
Right.
I hear it's one critic said it was a lot like Unaccompanied Minors meets Awakenings. Do you think that'll be true?
I don't know.
I haven't seen it.
Is that really something you heard?
No,
I mean,
I made that up. Who doesn't like both of those movies?
I was gonna say that's pretty hefty praise for. I mean, Awakenings is solid.
It's a dope flick.
Yeah. So I don't know. I don't know. I mean,
Maybe we've just coined that review, and maybe it'll live up to it.
Yeah,
in a
maybe.
couple of weeks.
I hope it does well, because I think it's the idea of sort of what you were talking about how these kids aren't dead. I kind of, we've worked a little bit with Make-A-Wish kids, and
You have?
we have.
I didn't know that.
But so the idea that somebody's sort of giving voice to. So, what I hope that they don't do is that they perpetuate this idea that these are like sick, helpless kids just laying in a hospital bed. I think when these kids are sick, they grow up really quickly, and they mature in some ways, not in all ways, but they mature in ways you don't realize. And, people sort of dote on them, and it's, I think sometimes, to some, not to all, to some of these kids, it's condescending.
Yeah, it's almost like it makes it worse. It's like,
Yeah, absolutely.
I have to deal with this crappy situation, and I don't need, it's like struggling to figure out how to deal with that in the first place, and then also having to like deal with people treating you in a manner that isn't needed or necessary.
I'm all for crying in a show, like watching a show.
Absolutely.
But I don't want you to just tug on my heartstrings. I want them to give a voice to these kids. So
Yeah.
hopefully that's what we'll see. September 17th. So coming up soon.
That is so soon.
So
Red Band Society.
Red Band Society.
Say it again, say the name.
Say the name again. Say my name. All right. September 23rd. The 2 shows that I want to talk about.
Okay.
The first one is probably the one that most of the people listening to this are the most excited about, which is Agents of S.H.I.E.L.D.
Yeah.
Do you watch Agents of S.H.I.E.L.D.?
Yes.
Okay, so I'm not going to be specific, but I'm going to ask a question that could be construed as spoilery.
Oh.
So just be prepared. The only thing I want to know about with Agents of S.H.I.E.L.D. going into this season is where's Fitz? And I'm not going to go into why that question is there, but we don't know what's up with Fitz going into this next season. You have a confused look on your face, so we'll talk about it more after the podcast.
I'm trying to remember the events of the last episode, and I can't come up with an answer
Yeah.
for that question.
Well,
I was like, maybe I could do charades, but then I realized it's
Yeah.
video also.
we can say that part of that plot involved Fitz and Simmons being submerged in the ocean.
Yes.
And so my question is, where's Fitz? So what's up with Fitz?
Fitz is the guy, Simmons is the girl, right?
Right.
Yes.
Okay.
So I
Where is Fitz?
like this show.
Yeah.
I'm not in love with this show, and I generally tend to be in love with a Joss Whedon show. And I'm not sure I really call this a Joss Whedon show, but
I understand.
it kind of is. But
You were recently called a Whedonite.
yeah,
Whedon.
it was, wasn't it?
That's
Do
okay.
you want to talk about your guys' feelings on Agents of S.H.I.E.L.D., how you feel about the show?
Steve?
I enjoy it. I mean, I know it's not like the greatest, but it does a good job of being about things that I enjoy. And then, Sky keeps my attention the whole time. Well, I don't know if I should mention that he showed up in the last half of the season.
Oh yeah, they're new. You can talk about a new team member. I don't think that's too spoiler.
Well, this was sort of a new villain.
Oh yeah.
So I don't know if I want to mention him, but basically,
if you're behind,
if you're behind on Shield, catch up on Shield because it's starting again really soon. But yeah, like I enjoy it.
Mm-hmm.
Is it the best show ever? Not really. Is it entertaining? Just the right amount of funny, just the right amount of exciting? Yeah, absolutely.
Sure.
So maybe that does make it the best show ever.
What do you
Does
think?
have Ming Na.
I think that it was a little slow to get started, sort of, to like kind of get to the point where you were like, okay, I want to watch this show. So I feel like if you started watching it and
Gave up on it.
you gave up on it, you should give it another shot.
That's probably a mistake if you gave up on it. If you
I
gave
think-
up on it before Winter Soldier came out in theaters, you
Yeah.
probably
Right,
gave up too soon.
absolutely.
Yeah, and I thought that was really interesting that they tied it so heavily to the movie, and
That
I
was
thought
awesome.
it was really smart, and I like that
Yeah.
a lot. I think it's kind of the reason it was a little slow to start, because they were kind of
Biding their time.
until the movie came out.
Sure.
But I have really been enjoying it. It is fun. I think as far as sort of superhero type TV shows, it's not cheesy, which I like. I mean, maybe a little bit, but it's
It's
not
cheesy
like,
in the right places.
yeah, it's cheesy in the right places. It's not overly cheesy. It's not like overly Monster of the Week. It's not Monster of the Week most of the time. There's like an arc. There's an arc going on.
Arc-ish.
Arc-ish. So, I don't know. I've been enjoying it.
All right, let me crap on all that. No, I'm just joking. I actually enjoy the show when we watch it. It's not one of those shows that I feel like I've got to watch every week. If I get behind on some episodes,
Yeah.
and then we do like a weekend where we like watch 3 or 4 of them, that doesn't bother me.
Yeah.
It's not a show like Sons of Anarchy. The second an episode ends, I want to watch the next one.
Mhm.
Game of Thrones is the same way.
Yeah.
This is not one of those kinds of shows. And I think that's my biggest complaint, is that it's not compelling enough for me.
Mm-hmm.
I want a show that like I want to devour. However, I think it's a nice companion to the films. It doesn't completely tie into everything, but it did a great job with Winter Soldier.
Yeah.
And not just on the show, but stuff from the show was in Winter Soldier. So if
Right.
you don't watch the show and you watch Winter Soldier, you watch some things from the show.
Yes.
So, so I think it's kind of an interesting companion to the films. I think this season will be really interesting leading up to the new Avengers film, Age of Ultron.
Yeah.
I think it'll be really, really interesting to see what they do with these characters and sort of the hints and the groundwork they lay leading into Age of Ultron.
Yeah.
That's going to be awesome to watch.
This is probably how we're going to get our first like tease of Age of Ultron, is my
Yeah.
guess.
Yeah, I think that it's, it'll make us want to stay current on the show,
Mhm.
which is really smart on their part.
Yep.
Because, like you said, it is one of those kind of shows where it's like, oh, if we miss an episode, it's not that big of a deal. But we will want to catch up
Absolutely.
before that movie comes out, and so it's a good way for them to sort of keep themselves current. I mean, there are shows where it's kind of weird because I feel like in the age that we live in, I actually feel a little spoiled in that we binge watch things.
Oh yeah, absolutely.
If there's something we just didn't get to or whatever, we'll grab it on Hulu, Netflix, or whatever, and we'll watch like 2 seasons over the course of a few weeks.
Netflix is, I mean, like, if you look at Orange is the New Black or, like, House of Cards, like, when House of Cards comes out, within 2 days I'm done with the
Wow.
new season. I mean, I'm like,
Yeah,
I've
you
got to
just
watch it.
Watch the whole thing, and I like that instant gratification. And I feel like I've gotten so used to it that if I don't get it, it almost makes me not want to watch the show
Right.
at all. I almost want to like just wait
Just
until
wait.
the whole season's done and then
But-
binge watch it.
And you're right. And you're right with Agents of S.H.I.E.L.D., being so into film and seeing film in the theaters, it'll be really difficult for us to do that. So you're absolutely right.
so
It's really smart.
It's a very smart
Yeah.
business model almost on their part in order to keep you wanting to watch it currently.
Yeah.
Because, like, I mean, there are shows that we watch where we do get to the end and I'm like, oh my god, I can't wait to see the next episode.
Game of Thrones.
And then I have to wait.
Yeah. It's true.
Yeah, it's, I don't know, it's kind of
There it is.
agonizing.
Yeah, I understand. All right, now I'm going to talk about a show that also premieres on the same date.
What show?
Oh, well, it's getting grumbly.
Walt's getting grumbly.
Hey.
Let's check on Walt for a second
Hey,
here. Hey, what's up,
okay.
buddy? It's all right.
He's been
So-
very quiet.
He's been
He
very
has
quiet.
been
He's been
very
very
good. He's getting much better. We've been working on inside voice with him.
Aww.
So this is the moment where I make the listeners go, "What is he talking about?" You're more excited for this than Agents of S.H.I.E.L.D. Chicago Fire comes back the same night.
Yeah.
Oh, so I'm sorry I bored you with Chicago Fire. This is a show that I've really come to love, and this is one of those kind of like Sons of Anarchy. I don't think it's as good as Sons of Anarchy. I think Sons of Anarchy is just top-notch story writing and performances, and I mean, it's just really well made. But it's like Sons of Anarchy. I want to see the next episode right away as soon as it happens, and
Yeah.
it's a show that, again, it took a little bit of like, you guys got to watch the show. You guys, with Desi and Chris, I was like, you guys have to watch the show. You have to watch the show. And it took us a little while, and once we started watching it, it was one of those binge watch shows where we watched episode after episode after episode after episode.
Yeah, we do a thing in our house where we have a TV totem and we trade off who gets to pick the show. So it's like there are some shows that the three of us, Wes, Chris, and I, will watch together.
Mhm.
So rather than Wes just making us watch 20 episodes of
Sons of
Anarchy in
Right.
a row, we take turns picking so that it kind of shakes things up a little bit and everybody gets to watch what they want to watch. And
Yeah, nobody feels left out.
yeah,
But there was a period of
there
time.
was a period of time where all three of us were picking Chicago Fire
Cool.
no matter what.
and I had already seen the show.
Yeah,
So I was rewatching them.
Good.
yeah.
Yeah, one of the things I kept telling them was, and I do this thing that I kept telling them, the show, every episode starts at the bang. And it's like, so we would like start watching an episode and I'd be waiting for it to happen. And it's kind of like, the episode starts and you see some scenes and then all of a sudden something happens.
Whoa.
And every time I'm like, yeah! It's just, they must have a decent budget. They shoot on location in Chicago.
Mm-hmm.
They have great actors on the show.
Fantastic actors.
Yeah, Jesse Spencer, who's on House. Eamon, what's his name? Eamon Walker from Oz. It's got Taylor Kinney, who's like a big heartthrob, like romantic comedy guy now. Just great casts, and the show is a lot of arcs. Again, going back to the sort of like, I love arcs. I want to see a story really develop. I don't want to see a story be one and done. I want to see these characters grow, and I want to see them change. One of the reasons why I like ER so much, and in a lot of ways, it really, really reminds me of ER. And there's a little piece of me that keeps going, maybe they're gonna bring ER back with this show somehow.
Whoa.
Like, find a way to kind of work it, at least crossover maybe, because ER takes place in County Hospital of Chicago, and then you have Chicago Fire.
Right.
And then you got the paramedics, and occasionally they go to hospitals. And then they spun it off last year to Chicago PD, and those shows are constantly crossing over. And then it's a Dick Wolf show,
All right.
so it crosses over with Law and Order as well. So they had Law and
wow.
Order character, like Ice-T was on the show last season. And
He's
this,
an OG.
Yeah, he is.
It's true.
And from what I hear about this season, they're going to do more crossovers with Law and Order and more crossovers, which is inevitable, with Chicago Fire. Because like one of the characters in Chicago PD is the brother of one of the characters on Chicago Fire, and some of the
cool.
people date across the shows. And
Yeah, it again is, I think, a different but very smart business model for TV.
business model.
Huh?
Business model.
Business model. Well, I mean, I think that it may, sometimes there are shows that are a spin-off of another show, and you think, oh, it's not going to be that great, or like maybe I'll watch it for a little while, or you just don't get to it. But the crossovers make you want to watch it.
Yeah.
And the crossovers are very good, and both shows are very good. So it gets you to go to that other show, and then it sort of keeps you in it. Like when we got to Chicago PD, Chris didn't seem like he was as interested.
Neither
in
of you
that,
were really, it seemed like.
But we kept picking it because we needed to make sure that we got all the
crossovers in the right order.
Yeah,
Cool.
yeah.
Yeah, definitely, because decisions made on one show affected the other.
Yeah, and in like a very real way, not just like it's not like a one-off crossover where like it doesn't really have an effect. Like we've
Right.
seen, happen in other shows where it's like it's more like a guest star for like one, like a sort of separate.
And they do that
story.
sometimes. They do
And
cameos.
and they do that, but
There are some serious crossovers.
there are some serious like plot things that happen cross show. So it's
You're
smart.
right, smart. And if you haven't given Chicago Fire a shot, besides just the performances and the actors and the long story arcs, the writing, I suppose, it's not a show that it's not tame. If you think that this is like it's an NBC primetime show, they're not good. It's not Walking Dead graphic. I'll go that far, but
No.
but the injuries look pretty realistic.
Oh yeah.
People are absolutely in danger, including the lead characters,
Mm.
and I'm gonna address that in a second. And I'll tell you, when I was watching that first season, the moment I saw a crashed airplane in the middle of a city street,
Yeah.
I was like, "Holy crap! This show, they're for real about what they're putting their money where their mouth is. They're actually investing in this show.
Wow.
I mean, they're shooting it all on location. This isn't on some backlot.
Right.
So." I've been really, really impressed with the show, and I'm not going to spoil exactly how last season ended. I will tell you that it did end with, I'll just say, some lives in danger.
Yeah,
You don't have no idea how the show's coming back, right?
I have no idea how the show's coming back, and it's a lot of characters in danger.
That's not good to
Like, I don't know.
too far
It's just like, what's gonna happen?
I can tell you that the teaser for the new season shows the final scene from.
Whoa.
So if you see the teaser on NBC right now, Steve's just falling asleep, man.
My coffee's wearing off.
Do you want some more tea?
No.
So NBC's showing the final scene as their teaser, and it does have a big tagline. And I want to talk about the tagline, and the tagline is, "Who gets out alive?"
Oh snap!
So that tells me probably somebody's not. There is another little piece of information that I know about the show for the season, and I'm going to tease you with it now. And it won't matter as much for Steve because he doesn't watch the show
Sorry.
yet.
Sorry, Chicago Fire.
I hear that there is going to be a big shakeup for fans of the show, that it might really rock the fan base.
Oh man.
Whoa.
So,
I don't like it when you tell me things like
so I expect something major to happen. This is a show where, normally you kind of go like House. You're like, House is always going to, I think House got shot in like the second season. Spoiler from like 2008 or 9.
Wasn't even farther back than that.
Yeah, it might have been. So
1997.
yeah, no, not that far.
that. 1997. No, it wasn't quite that.
But like,
No,
so House gets shot in like the second season of House, and you
Yeah.
don't. The show's called House. He's not going to die.
Yeah, you know that things might change a little, but he's not going anywhere.
Right. This show's called Chicago Fire. It doesn't have a character name on it. I honestly believe no one is safe on this show.
Whoa.
I think that the people that it's an ensemble show, and there's definitely some characters that are sort of main characters. Casey, I would think, would
Yeah,
sort of
Jesse
be
Spencer.
viewed as sort of the main character of the show.
Mm.
I don't think Jesse Spencer's safe on this show. I think any of these characters could die at any time, and that's one of the things that makes the show really exciting to me, and that's what makes this "Who Gets Out Alive" thing especially interesting to me. So very excited. I'm much more excited for that than I am Agents of S.H.I.E.L.D. Again, it's a much more compelling show to me.
I do have to say, it did take a while for Jesse Spencer to find his footing with an American accent.
Oh.
The first season is a little rough.
Yeah, because there was a thing going on there. I think especially the first couple. I kind of stopped hearing it after the first few episodes. I think because I just didn't care.
You just kind of get used to it, and then you're just like, oh, that's just how he talks.
I think there was a thing between just kind of a generic American accent, and I think there was early on, maybe there was a little playing around with a Chicago accent, and it didn't work.
It's a very specific accent.
Yeah, and I think that it ended up just being just kind of a generic American accent.
Yeah, and I think kind of once he started to just move away from that Chicago specific, it got better.
Man, I'd love to work with that guy. He is. I watched all the House, watched all of this. I haven't really seen him in much else, but like every time I see him in scenes, I believe that he's that character.
Oh,
Even with
really?
even with if his accent's kind of iffy,
Yeah.
I still believe that he's that character. Like he exudes, something about his eyes. He just really exudes emotion really well.
Yeah.
He can deliver a line of dialogue, especially frustrated dialogue, really well. That's very believable. He doesn't sound like an actor saying lines. He sounds like a dude saying lines, and he's a lot of fun to watch. I like him.
Yeah.
All right, we're going to move on to a different fun to watch actor.
Who's that?
We talked about Doctor Who earlier.
Oh, yes.
So we're going to talk about David Tennant now.
David Tennant.
My doctor. David
Your
Tennant.
doctor?
Yeah, that's my favorite.
Oh, okay.
He's sort of the one that really, kind of solidified Doctor Who for me. I watched it when I was a kid with my dad.
Yeah.
And when I was a kid, I really liked Peter Davison because he had celery on his thing, and I thought that was funny.
Oh, yeah.
But I didn't really, connect really well until David Tennant, and so he's sort of my doctor. But
I like it.
And the older series is a little bit more dry.
dry and, a little...
It's a little bit more typically British.
Right. So, David Tennant was in a show called Broadchurch in England, and they have decided to bring Broadchurch to America, so they are remaking the show as an American show. He is playing an American with an American accent. It's fine. It's believable. His hairstyle is kind of interesting in this. He plays...
I'm excited to see that.
He plays a very normal, almost boring-looking guy in this. It's being sort of touted as, not as a TV series, but as a 10-part mystery event. And it is about the death of a child in a small town. And he and Anna Gunn from Breaking Bad are detectives investigating this case.
Gotcha.
And the question is, who killed this kid and why? And it looks incredible.
Cool.
It looks moving. It looks like it's shot really well. I'm sure the story is very good. It seems very compelling.
Yeah.
It's got Michael Pena in it. It has, David Tennant and a gun. It's also got Nick Nolte is in it.
Oh, heard about that guy.
Yeah. So I'm really, really excited for this show. Definitely check out the teaser for it. I haven't heard people talking much about it.
Broadchurch.
It's going to be called Grace Point here.
Oh, here it's
Not
Grace
going to be
Point.
called Broadchurch, so that's what I was going to get to.
Yeah.
So it's called Grace Point. It comes out October 2nd on Fox, of all places. So
Grace Point on
Grace
Fox.
Point.
So that's 2 Fox shows that we've got on our radar.
I'll tell you what a Fox show that's not on our radar.
Okay.
Gotham is not on my radar.
Oh, no, huh?
Oh.
I'm not sold.
I'm willing to give it a shot.
I might at some point. It's just I know what I'm going to focus on, and if I have time to fit Gotham in, it might happen. But I'm not sold on what DC's doing with their properties right now. So
Step it up, DC.
We'll see.
yeah, so let's move on away from that because you're excited about this next one, American Horror Story
Oh, yeah.
Freak Show,
Freak
I
Show.
am excited about that.
October 8th.
Just in time for 3 weeks before Halloween.
When American Horror Story came out, I was sort of almost vehemently against the idea of the show. I think I liked the concept, but when I saw the ads and stuff and the dude in the latex suit and all that stuff, I was like, nope, not for me. I'm not into it. So I didn't get around to watching it till the second season had come out, and it was available on Netflix. And I was like, okay, I'll give it a shot. Watched one episode and was hooked, and then I showed it to you, and then
Loved it.
Chris kind of watches it a little bit. So we've watched the first 3 seasons, and now we're excited about season 4, Freak Show. A lot of actors coming back. Kathy Bates is coming back. What's her name from last season? Was that Angela Bassett that was in that?
She was in that, yeah.
Yeah, so she's coming back. They just sort of revealed that Emma Roberts is coming back. Of course, Evan Peters is coming back. You have to bring him back.
Yeah.
Who else?
McDermott's not coming back, is
Sarah Paulson's coming back. So I don't want to say, but I have heard. I don't want to give too many spoilers away because people don't necessarily want to listen to podcasts and hear stuff that they don't want to hear. But there are some first season actors that haven't been on much
In the
of
last
this
couple of
in the last
seasons.
few seasons. That there are talks going on right now about bringing them back.
Groovy.
Yeah.
I think Leah Michelle's going to be on. Leah Michelle's also going to be in.
Michelle.
Yeah.
She's also going to be in Sons of Anarchy this year.
Yes.
Really?
That's right.
Yeah.
Yep. I saw that.
That is surprising.
I feel like it's worth mentioning, since we're talking about people who are coming back and whatnot for this current season, excuse me, if you haven't watched the show and you're not familiar with it, I know at first it was confusing to me because they were like, it brings back the same actors, but it's not the same characters.
No, they're not, the stories aren't connected.
The stories are not. Yeah, it's like it's almost like a whole new show.
So if you've never watched it, you can start now.
Yeah,
Right.
you can watch any season in and of itself
Yeah.
without having watching previous seasons because they're connected in that they're about that they're horror stories.
But they're all different types of horror
But they're
stories.
all different types of horror stories that take place in different time periods.
Right.
The actors play different characters.
Yeah. I mean, the first one's very much a haunted house story.
Yes.
The second one, I don't know how much we want to get into it, but it's a little bit of devil, a little bit of alien stuff going on. The third,
Serial
But it's also
serial
sort of-
killers. There's third season's witches, and this new one's
Witches.
freak shows.
Yeah. The second season, as much as it's about, aliens and whatever, it's also sort of about the horrific state of asylums at that
Time period,
time
corruption.
period of history.
It was very much about corruption.
About
absolutely.
corruption, about the mistreatment of the mentally ill,
And corruption today. I mean,
corruption today. Yeah,
yeah.
it's certainly not completely gone now. So that was interesting to me to sort of integrate that other aspect of horror. It's not like a traditional horror story,
Yeah.
but it is horrific.
Yeah.
and
Absolutely.
I thought they did that really well.
Absolutely.
I really liked that.
Yeah, so they're bringing some people back. Sarah Paulson's got I think it was Sarah Paulson. Yeah, Sarah Paulson's got a really interesting character this season. And then they have said it sounds like it's Jessica Lange's last season.
Oh, really?
Which is really surprising because she has been such a major part of the first three.
Yeah.
So, and apparently she's got a very different character. She's playing a German expat. It takes place in 1950s Florida, mostly.
Oh.
So, and she is the person who sort of finds and gives shelter to the freaks.
Whoa.
So,
Lame.
yeah, so, that should be interesting.
I hear honking out there.
Yeah. Oh, Michael Chiklis has been cast in the season.
The Thing?
Yeah, the Thing, the guy, the Thing from the Shield,
The Commish?
and the commish has been cast. I think he's playing Evan Peters' father in the film.
Oh, cool.
In the show. So, October 8th, American
October
Horror
8th.
Story. I'm excited about that.
Get ready.
I do want to mention
Yeah.
that in this new series,
Yes.
there is a woman who, in the
yeah.
time that this takes place, probably would have been considered a freak.
Absolutely.
She is the world's smallest living woman,
Mm-hmm.
as of like 2012, I think, when she turned 18.
Mm-hmm.
She is 2 feet and just over half an inch tall.
So barely 2 feet.
Wowzers.
Just barely over 2 feet tall. She is adorable,
Yeah.
and she wants to be an actress. So fitting that she's going to be in the show, and I'm actually really excited to see her and
Yeah. I hope they give her like a very
like a real part.
yeah, because I could see wanting to be an actress that small. She's gonna play a lot of monsters.
Yeah, she's just going to play things that are dictated by her size, and
Yeah.
We've seen that happen
A lot.
with small people in the past
And big people.
and big people.
It's true.
One of our personal friends who's quite tall and has no hair is sort of a scary looking dude, but
He's hilarious.
He gets cast in
Yeah.
that sort of monster scary role a lot, but he's actually like a very funny, super sweet guy.
He's a very sweet guy.
So it's kind of interesting. It's not, he's done those roles because it's what he can get, and he's very good at it.
Yeah, he's very good at it.
But it's not necessarily what he wants.
Certainly
to
not
do.
who he is. He's not a monster.
Yeah,
in real
right.
life.
Exactly. So
Yeah.
it's really interesting. I hope that she's really good. I'm interested to see her. Her name is, I'm not totally sure how to pronounce it, but I think it's Jyoti Amji.
Okay.
She is Indian. Totally adorable.
Okay.
really excited to see that.
Yeah. So moving on.
Moving on.
The last show I want to talk about that I'm really excited about. We have another one after this that's maybe, but one that I'm super excited about is Walking Dead.
Walking Dead season
5.
5 already?
Oh, show.
Where does the time go?
Comes out October 12th. We're definitely not going to talk spoilers
No.
here.
I'm excited.
There have been some talk about this is probably the most intense season that they maybe have done.
The most intense.
Yeah.
More intense than season 1.
I think so.
Or 2 or 3.
I mean,
or
4 was pretty intense.
I liked 4 a lot. A lot of people
Yeah.
are poo-pooing 4.
I like 4 a lot.
I think it was
It's
just
weird.
fine.
It's weird how intense it was and how slow it was at the same time.
Yeah.
You know, and I think that maybe turns people off with the pacing being slower. But
Yeah,
I like that they took their time to tell these stories,
Yeah,
especially
that's
with
the
like
thing.
the young girls and stuff.
A story needs to exist. It can't just be zombie fight to the next zombie fight to the next zombie fight.
Right.
You
Yeah.
gotta put a story in there. You don't have a TV show.
Right.
Well, there's some things that are being talked about with Walking Dead. It's supposed to be more action heavy than last
Ooh.
season. So for those people that were wanting more action,
Yeah.
there's supposed to be a lot of action. It's been described as messy and brutal.
Messy and brutal.
And I've read different interviews with some of the cast members, and
Yeah.
2 cast members in different interviews
Yeah.
talked about the same scene, and both commented on how graphic it was
Huh.
and how they don't believe it's gonna get past censors.
Wow.
That they think it's gonna be too much for TV.
Yeah, I don't like the sound of that.
I like the sound of that in that it means there's some big consequence coming. You know, again,
guess so, yeah.
going back to consequences, I like that they always sort of up the ante on things.
Yeah.
So if that's the case, if that's indeed what's going on here, I wonder if it's a character death. We'll see. But the fact that they are both surprised
Yeah,
by
that's
this, but the actors are surprised by it,
especially after all the gory stuff that's already happened on that show.
Yep.
Wes,
Yes, sir.
I kind of got to hit the road.
No way.
I do.
That mean that's convenient because we kind of hit the end of this.
Okay.
There was
Perfect timing, Steve.
there was one other show. We'll just mention it briefly. Constantine, based on the comic book.
Based on the comic book that inspired the Keanu Reeves movie.
Yeah, I'm not sold on this. I saw the trailer for it. I don't know if I buy the performance of the lead actor. He doesn't, in a weird way, he just doesn't look like he fits in the clothes.
Huh.
But
Constantine.
I have heard some really good things about it. I heard it's kind of like Supernatural,
All right.
and I heard it's very, very funny. So I think we might work that in. I think that might be one of these things we'll check out and see how it is.
See how
I'm not,
it's
like I said, I'm not sold on it, but I'm definitely going to give it a chance because it seems interesting. Constantine.
like it.
So Walking Dead comes back October 12th. Constantine shows up October 24th.
Mm-hmm.
There is one last thing I want to talk about as we wrap up. As we talked about our streaming, last week we highlighted one of our favorite streamers, which is Pop-Tart Katza.
Pop-Tart Katza.
We watch her stream whenever she's on, if we can, and she's adorable and sweet and good-natured, and she's come over and visited with us on our stream as well. I wanted to highlight, I think what we're going to do is every once in a while, we're going to highlight other streamers that we really like. And so there's another one that's also kind of like us, still kind of in the early stages. She's not a partner on Twitch yet. So you definitely should go follow her. Her name is Shando Calrissian.
Shando.
Like Lando Calrissian, but Shando.
Shando.
ShandoCalrissian. Shando Calrissian. And I'll throw a link on the YouTube description as well for her. But yeah, go to twitch.tv/Shando Calrissian, and she also has a Facebook page, and I don't think she has Twitter, but she is very funny. She loves video games. She's very real. She's not like we've seen a lot of fake personalities on Twitch. She's not one of those people. So
Yeah, she's definitely not afraid to show her like sort of true inner geek. Like she does what she wants,
inner
and people
geek.
like her because of it.
yeah, it's funny because you said that, like showing her true inner geek. She was dressed in a cosplay outfit that she was taking to Dragon Con. One day she was playing, and of course she was dressed as Han Solo. So
And she just her little tag was like, "'Cause I wanna." Like,
yeah, I mean, she just was like playing
not?
video games in a Han Solo outfit.
Yeah.
Awesome. We really enjoy watching her, so check her out. You can also check us out, just a reminder, twitch.tv/NoLagTillBrooklyn. We have our YouTube page, which, it's No Lag Till Brooklyn as well there.
Yeah.
We are on Twitter @NoLagGamers. And our Patreon is patreon.com/NoLag. Thank you for listening
I make some
and watching.
plugs?
Yeah, you want to plug?
Absolutely.
I got 3 things I got to plug.
Make
You got 3
all the
things?
plugs you want.
Oh,
All right.
please.
First of all, if you haven't already, watch Sharknado
For sure.
Part 1. It's available on DVD, Netflix, so many other places.
Yeah.
Look for me in a movie called Waking, which is pretty much available on every video-on-demand service except for Netflix.
I bought it on Vudu.
Wes bought it on Vudu. Did you watch it? Don't even answer that. Just look for Waking. And also look for me in a new upcoming movie with Eddie Griffin and Danny Trejo called Mucho Dinero. And follow me at Steve in No Howood on Twitter.
Yeah, and we'll link. We always link our guests
everything, yeah.
on
Sweet.
on the stuff. So, thanks again for watching. We appreciate you sticking with us for an hour and 20 minutes.
And thanks for coming, Steve.
Yeah, thanks
Thanks for having me, you guys. This is fun. And thanks for